Hey guys, this is Slappin Glass. Now we're going to take a look at the great baseline and sideline out of bounds actions within Pascual's offensive playbook. We start with the simultaneous flare screen and back screen actions taking place from the baseline. The simultaneous flare and back screen opens up a lane to the rim for a cutter or a screener to slip into after the screen is set. Pay attention to how great the timing is on all of these sets and how the man taking the ball out underneath is patient enough to let the play and the back cut develop. The greens will also run similar action out of a offset stack look, where the main look is for the shooter sprinting off of a flare to the corner. The creative part of this set is the big looping and cutting under the rim before curling or hooking back to set the flare screen for the shooter. The next action in this baseline out of bounds series is the elbow stagger. A creative action because it's a misdirection play set for the shooter originally going off of a flare screen to the corner like we saw in the first series. But instead, the shooter stops and peels back and receives a staggered down screen at the elbow by the two bigs. Such an effective set as it takes advantage of the defender relaxing for just a moment after he's navigated through the original flare screen, only to have to fight back over the top of a double stagger. What's so great about all of these sets and actions is how one builds into another. Notice now the flare screen leading into a pin down that then flows right into floppy and screen the screener action, with the ball handler coming back into the play and setting the baseline screens. Floppy action has been a staple in Europe, the NBA, and college basketball for years now because of its ability to both free up shooters coming to the perimeter as well as give the option of a big slipping to the rim after setting those floppy screens. The next action is an Iverson cut into an elbow stagger. Similar to what we've seen in previous clips with the elbow stagger ending, except instead of starting with a simple flare to the near side corner, this starts with a double stagger or Iverson cut over the top. And this Iverson cut also sets up one of my favorite series in their baseline out of bounds, which is the Iverson cut to the side Spain pick and roll. Where the Spain screener or the back screener is looping all the way around from the near side under the rim and then eventually setting that back screen. Really hard for the defense to guard and pick up all the multiple actions. Another starting alignment the Greens like to use is a 3-1 alignment. Here, we'll see how they use that to flow right into a pin down for their shooter coming back in after he passes it from the baseline. Moving on to the stack shuffle series, where the first and third man will space one to the corner and one across the key, and the second in the stack will turn and set a shuffle screen or a back screen for the offensive player at the top of the key, racing towards the rim and trying to find a space in the defense. And as we'll see here, this action also can flow right into screen to screener action after the shuffle screen is set. Like many great coaches in Europe, Pascual's a big fan of the Veer screen, or a fake on-ball flowing directly into a pin-down screen from the big. So many great actions in the baseline out-of-bounds playbook, but now we turn our attention to the sideline out-of-bounds play, and start with a basic pin-down screen. At first glance, this is a fairly simple play, but what makes it so effective is the fact that the shooter coming out the pin-down screen is first cutting either over the top of a screen, as seen here, or through the key before the pin-down takes place. And often the natural tendency of the defender is to relax for just a brief second after guarding the initial cut over the top or through the key. And then notice the subtle differences in this set, and though it ends the same with a pin down, it starts with initial screen-to-screener action at the top, making it just a little bit more difficult to navigate through in the beginning of the set. And though they often flow into their second and third actions within their sets and series, if the screen-to-screener action gives a wide open look early in the offense, well, they'll take that too. And just like so many of Pascual's baseline, sideline, and regular sets set up another series, this set also sets up the slip from the big. Another action from this sideline out of bounds set is the flare to pin down. So instead of the big turning and getting the handoff to the pin, after he sets the screen over the top, he'll turn and set the deep pin down screen for a shooter coming to the top. Moving on to their hammer action, or a backside flare for a shooter going to the deep corner. These first couple of clips, though, show the value of the hammer action on the backside as it moves and occupies the backside defenders and the help side, allowing for the step-up screener to roll to the rim unimpeded. And here we'll see what happens when the hammer screen and the step up are set at the same time and the help side defender does come over to guard the rim, leaving the far side corner open. We'll see this same action flowing right into a staggered side pick and roll. So no hammer action on the backside, but a staggered on-ball screen by the two bigs. First by a 4 that can pick and pop, and second by the 5 that will set the step up and roll to the rim. And lastly, from the sideline out of bounds series, we'll see the staggered curl, especially a good set in late game situations when needing a clear out or a quick shot.